This video shows how I made this shadow box with my Nintendo 64 Mario Kart cartridge inside, and it says, "In case of nostalgia, break glass," with this little hammer on the side to break the glass with. And if you want to see how I made this, keep watching. So the basic materials for this project is a shadow box, a game cartridge, a miniature keychain of a hammer, spray paint, and white vinyl. Permanent vinyl is what I used. And I started with the shadow box. I had to disassemble it all, starting by removing the back of it, and it came with this piece of felt in the back. I had to take it off, but for some reason there was a lot of glue on it, and I had to scrape it all off. It made a huge mess, but I managed to take it all off. And to make it smooth, I used a little piece of sandpaper. So that's me sanding it down to make sure the back was gonna be flat. I had to sand it down. As I said, made a huge mess. So I had to do a little bit of cleaning in between. And I got a red piece of cardstock, and I had to trace to make sure it would be the right size. I just used the back to trace it on the red cardstock and cut with scissors. It doesn't need to be very precise because it was going to be hidden anyways with the frame of the shadow box, like the borders of it. So fits nice, and that's me with the Nintendo 64 cartridge. And it could have been any other cartridge, it's just that the Nintendo 64 and specifically Mario Kart 64 is my favorite game. So that's me. I removed the insides of the shadow box and I numbered them to make sure they would fit in the right places, and numbered the frame as well. So then I took the frame, the outer frame, to spray paint, and while that was drying, I started to glue the back of my shadow box, the cardstock on it. And the best glue to use is spray paint, spray glue, because it doesn't leave, somehow the paper won't wrinkle. So that's what I usually use when I need a flat paper glue to something. And again, making sure it will all fit nicely, but the glass just to see how it's gonna look. And yeah, then it's time to make the decal on it and just do a little bit of measuring. And I used my Cricut for this decal. I just placed my permanent vinyl on my Cricut mat. Then set it to cut. That's me just cutting it out of the mat. And then I had to weed off the parts that I didn't want. So the insides of the letters, that's where I usually start, removing all the little bits and parts inside of the A, the O. After that, I just take the whole big chunk around the letters. Then I cut in half because I wanted to put half of the text on the top and half of the text on the bottom of the glass. That's me placing a little bit of clear transfer tape on top of the decal so I could transfer it to the glass. I had to make sure to measure it very well so it wouldn't be crooked and well centered. I put it on and removed the transfer tape. I did that with the top text and then same thing with the bottom text. Always going back and placing it on to make sure it would be correctly placed and not too much spacing in between the cartridge and the glass and all that. So after the frame was spray painted and dry, it was time to do the first part of the assembly. I put the glass on, and also I had to spray paint those side pieces. I actually used red vinyl paper, like red contact paper, to make it easier than spray paint. For some reason I thought it would look nicer, so I just covered those side pieces with that. And then I had to scrape that all off because I actually decided to put the decal from the inside of the glass. I thought it would be easier to clean, and I just put it all from the back. And now I'm quickly making the little hammer on the chain that's gonna go on the side of the shadow box. So it's just a hammer keychain that I used, that I found online, and I got a little piece of chain, and I used the tiny screw to screw that onto the shadow box. But of course, first I had to drill a hole before putting the screw on. So just drill the hole on the side. It's really simple. And then screwed on a screw on the side of the shadow box. And that is almost done. Just making sure the size of the chain was correct and it can be used. So now it's just time to put the back, and I forgot to film, but I used a little bit of double-sided tape, like mounting tape, to put my cartridge on the back of the shadow box. So that is it, and I love how it looks, and it has a huge meaning to me because this is a game I've played the most in my entire life, because I remember coming from school and playing that all afternoon, and I'm so good at this game. I'm not even joking. I'm very good at this game. And that's my favorite game of all time, and definitely in case of nostalgia, I'll break this glass and grab my Nintendo 64. Hope you like this video, and I'll see you next time.